Hello and welcome to this special Electronic Café Celebrates episode. As you know, Mark and I normally celebrate albums that are 40 years old, but we've gone back a whole decade further to celebrate arguably one of the landmark albums that shaped my taste, Mark's, and probably most of the people on this channel's taste in electronic music. So we are celebrating the fact that this absolute gem, Autobahn, by the magnificent Kraftwerk, is 50 years old.
As Andy said, our usual position is celebrating seminal album's 40th anniversary, but this 50-year landmark simply couldn't go unrecognised. One of the most defining electronic synth-pop albums of all time, released this day 50 years ago, the 1st of November 1974.
So this classic, legendary masterpiece of pioneering electronic music was released in November 74 of Philips Records. It was their fourth album. There was a bit of a group change. They added Klaus Roeder on guitar and flute, and obviously our good friend of the Electronic Café, Wolfgang Flür, on percussion. An amazing man. This album also completed the group's transition from that sort of experimental krautrock style to a more electronic pop sound consisting mostly of synthesizers and drum machines, and recording started at the group's now legendary Kling Klang Studios, but was predominantly made at Connie Plank's place, which was great. And also Autobahn also included lyrics and a new look for the group, which was great. I've got to tell you, when I first heard this, I was sitting in my dad's car, and I've told this story maybe a few times on our channel, but I'm going to tell you again because it was such a monumental moment for me. I was sitting in my dad's old Triumph Dolomite estate in Rise Park in Romford, Essex, and this amazing sound came on, those opening ding 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 ding, and I thought, what the hell is that? And my ears pricked up, and I just fell in love with it from that instant. Kraftwerk for me really set me on a path that I'm so glad I stuck with. It was amazing.
The cover that has now become one of the most recognised Kraftwerk motifs wasn't the original German album cover. In the UK, the album was released by Phonogram with a blue and white motorway logo rather than the Emil Schultz painted cover of the view from a windscreen showing a Mercedes and a Volkswagen car driving along the Autobahn. It was the success of this groundbreaking album that led to Karl Bartos being drafted in to replace Klaus Roeder on the US and UK tours, and so leading to the classic Kraftwerk lineup of Ralf Hütter, Florian Schneider, Wolfgang Flür and Karl Bartos. Let's put it into context. 1974 was the early days for electronic music and hadn't yet developed a popular following, except perhaps for Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells or fellow German band Tangerine Dream. As you would expect, being so far ahead of the curve on its initial release, the album was pretty much ignored or called an entertaining jolt for listeners wearing headphones. Sometimes I feel that something is so different, music journalists get intimidated and react by reviewing things they don't understand with negativity.
Thankfully, there were far more positive reviews, like Gary Dean of the Leader Post, who in later years said that Autobahn was Kraftwerk's most ambitious and coherent album to date, and the effect of Autobahn was its long running time, but it was deliberately done, and the periodic familiarity of Autobahn's scenery keeps the work together as a whole. It's really quite fascinating, offers a new dimension to most of our musical lives. I couldn't agree more. Some critics such as Jerry Baker of Fort Worth Star Telegram and Wayne Robbins of Newsday include the album in their honourable mentions on their lists of the best albums of 1975. They got it wrong because it was 74, but I just think, for me, this was the seed after my sort of very, very young indulgences of Pink Floyd, Zeppelin, Bowie, Roxy, Mark Bowen, all very important to these ears. This is the album that changed everything for me.
Well, Kraftwerk Autobahn has stood the test of time, and until the end of days will always be considered as one of the greatest and most influential electronic albums of all time. Half a century on, it still sounds fantastic, and it will do so forevermore. I applaud the bravery, the vision, and well done Kraftwerk.
It's kept these ears happy for a long time and helped me go on a voyage of discovery that I will have loved from then until now and will continue to do so. So, Autobahn, Kraftwerk, thank you. for getting these years onto a good path, and thank you for making such an incredible album and many albums after that. Absolute legendary band, and this album deserves to be celebrated. Happy anniversary, Autobahn. You're 50 years old and you're still sounding as good now as you did then.